the magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future. Transformers Slag Podcast. What's up, everyone? How we all doing? Yet again, another Saturday night. It's the Transformers Slag Podcast Center live stream main event. I'm your host, Protoman. I'm the face that runs this place. The voice you hear Monday to Friday, and it is Saturday night. We're going to talk Transformers. We're going to chill. We're going to relax. Just enjoy the evening. And, man, the sales are coming, let me tell you. That's the topic of today is Black Friday. In a world of avoiding paying full price, like I do, especially the way the prices are right now. A lot of stuff is coming, and we're going to talk about that today. My hair is a mess, by the way. I just got home. We were out all day. Didn't even get to shave. Been busy. A lot of toy hunting, too. We'll get into that. Got some wacky stuff, so to speak. We went to an interesting place. But yeah, how we all doing? Who do we got in the chat? Let's take a look. We got my patron, Fair Lady Z, Big Bot Bodega, another patron. We got Navio. How you doing? Got James, what's up? We got Ninjatron, what's up, Dylan? Patrick Brown, one of my YouTube members. Roman is here, what's up? Who else is here? Link CW, haven't seen you in a while, bud. James is here. T-Formers 2002. T-Formers, I probably should show you on my phone. How's my phone charged? My phone was dying. So, before I get into taking a look at everyone, get a load of this. I always talk about how I can't find Hot Wheels. Look at that. I was at Walmart today. An entire peg of them. An entire peg of tracks. Wild. But they're Canadian. So $6.99 Canadian plus Quebec taxes. So $7 plus Quebec taxes of almost 13 to 14 to 15%, depending on where you're buying and what you're buying, puts you up to about almost $8 Canadian for little tracks. So thank you. And Michael Koo, who hooked me up with the tracks. But yeah, so that popped up. I took a photo of that because I was thinking of you guys. But so who else? Who else is here? Clark Clint Gaming. What's up? Want to make sure I don't miss nobody. James, I already caught. Will Murphy, how you doing? People start. Dark Angel, how you doing? How you doing, Dark Angel? Fawn Hart, we got to talk to. How you doing, Fawn Hart? Oscar's here. Everyone is slowly rolling in. It's been an interesting one, to say the least. I took a few photos, actually, because today was my pre-Black Friday scouting, because I always find that the week before Black Friday, you could already kind of see with the Walmarts and the Market 6 stores that they're already starting to take stuff out. It hasn't been marked down yet, but it's there. It's getting there to it. And you always got to scout it a little early. You can see sometimes spaces in the shelving have been made emptied early on, or there'll be like an end cap that, mysteriously empty or something. So it gets into all of that, where I always try to scout it, because we'll talk about it later today, but there's going to be quite a few good deals that are going to be popping off that we wait kind of all year around to get, outside of doing a Transformer convention, getting those deals there. So we'll definitely talk about it. But yeah, that was definitely one of them for sure. People were going nuts trying to, especially me, I was just having no luck with the Hot Wheels stuff. And now there's a full peg of those color changers. I'm convinced, because there were so many of them, I think they're probably, I don't know how much are in that wave and how the case assortments work with Hot Wheels. So any diecast guy, gladly correct me if I'm wrong, because that's not my forte. But they got to be easily minimum 4 or 5 per case, because there was quite a few of them. Probably should have taken a better shot of the angle, to just show how many there were on the peg. But they're expensive, though, the color changers. They're still, gone are the days when Hot Wheels are 50 cents to $1. Those days are done. But yeah, Yeah. But so we'll get into the news. We'll recap what we've talked about this week. There's been some updates here and there. Then we'll talk about some interesting items that we picked up this week because we took a little trip away from Montreal to some Asian supermarket interestingness and found some transforming robot stuff there. So I'm pretty sure you guys will dig that. T-Formers 2. I found 10. I ended up with two per. So it's two per case. Okay. Because, yeah, man, there were so many of them. And I was like, wow, okay. I didn't take any of them. I left them behind. And I was like, hey, whoever could get them, get them. Enjoy. I got the one, like you hooked me up with one. And then what do you call it? Michael Koo hooked me up with one, and I figured I'll give you back the one you gave me so you can make some money from it because I only need the one, you know. Until they make a hot rod one, then I'm going to need like 10 of them. But until that happens, I only just need the one car. I'll have a nice wall of them like I did with the GoBots one day. But yeah, very cool. Transformatics, what's up? But so it's let's get into the news. And then we'll cover some cool stuff here and there, some finds, and then we'll talk about what's happening with the sales coming up next Friday, Black Friday. So first, let's talk about that pullback that showed up at Five Below. So if you're looking for I think this was 1 by 32 scale, so a little bit larger than a deluxe transformer. If you want a pullback Bumblebee that doesn't transform, that's only $5. It's at Five Below right now, licensed Volkswagen by Jada. Again, Jada right now is crushing it with the Mega Man action figures, the Street Fighter action figures. They're doing a lot of great stuff. But they're still, Jada, and Jada's history is die-cast cars and stuff. Although this one's all plastic because it's a pullback, so it needs to be a little lighter. But good stuff, good stuff. And speaking of diecast, T-Former says, I sold most of them at Chicago. Well, that's fantastic then. Always love it when people do well at these shows and make money. I feel that, the Transformer hobby, it's an ecosystem of a lot of different things. If you're an artistic person, you should be able to make money from that. If you're someone who's, good at like running a business and stuff, you could get inventory and sell Transformer toys at a booth. There's always opportunities, and it always makes me happy to hear when Transformer fans could make money from their hobby and still be fans, not just be like guys that are in it just for the money. We don't need those people there, but it's good stuff. So, unfortunately, Five Below isn't Five Below anymore. Well, this one apparently, James, this one actually is $5 on the dot. So at least that's the one good thing there. According to, I believe this item was found in Indiana, if I remember correctly. So check it out if you're interested. Again, slightly larger than a deluxe pullback B, if that's your thing. If you want for your B collection for the Hive, as Josh Perez would refer to his Bumblebee collection. If you want it for your Hive, check that out. And more non-transforming Bumblebee stuff. There's going to be a theme here, I get a feeling. There's going to be quite a few non-transforming Bumblebee stuff here. Then, of course, we got the Blockies. These are actually pretty awesome, though, because it's my favorite version of the movie Megatrons. We got 2 Dark of the Moon Blockies Classic Class model kits. These, on average, are about $20 usually USD. The last, set of them that they did were $20, $19.99. So I'm going to assume by the time these ones come out, they'll still keep that MSRP. But we got Dark of the Moon Megatron. I love that design. Absolutely love it. And then we got Dark of the Moon Bumblebee. The B comes with, interchangeable blaster, interchangeable face sculpt. And then we have shoulder-mounted blasters or missile launchers that could also be put on the B. The Megatron, from what I've seen, because there's also some newer in-hand photos, it looks like it just comes with the elephant shotgun, which is a shame. It would have been nice if it came with like the cloak or maybe like just, a different face sculpt or something. I might be wrong. Maybe like the in-hand images didn't include the extras, but looks like the Megatron is pretty bare bones. I guess maybe I'll just have to go to Fabricville or something locally here and just, cut up a cloth and put it on him. It's not a big deal. Get a brown cloth and just wrap it around him, make him look all badass. But very, very cool. Again, $20, decent size model kits, very entry level. They're fantastic. I love everything Blockies does, and I hope Blockies continues doing what they're doing on a high level. Affordable, fun, easy. Only negative that I can ever say about Blockies is non-transformable, but that's kind of the licensing agreement with Hasbro is they got to be the ones who take care of that stuff. So it is what it is, but it looks great. And again, speaking of more non-transformable Bumblebee stuff, Forever Clever, we talked about this yesterday, but we'll reiterate it today. These were found in Spring Valley, California, in a grocery outlet, which is a chain of grocery stores that also will have like, toys and clothing and stuff like that, usually near their pharmacy section. Um, they had a whole bunch of these transformer key blasters, which key blasters, what they are, they're very similar to Matchbox back in the 60s and the 70s, invented something called burning key cars, which were these little spring loaded cars that you would plug into a key and it would compress the spring and you push the key and the car would spring forward on, little ball bearing joints of the axles and everything. Well, these ones here have something similar. The keys now kind of look like more of a modern European key fob instead of a key, like a traditional key for a car. And you get two little transformer, suggested characters, just mostly of a deco and a color scheme. Doesn't necessarily mean it is them, but it's a decode of one of the original, well, Legendary 7, but here in this case, Legendary 6, because Devastator is absent. Of one set, you get a Soundwave and a Bumblebee. You get an Optimus and a Starscream, and you get a Grimlock and a Megatron. It's kind of smart of them to separate the Starscream and the Grimlock and put them with the Optimus and the Megatron. That way, you get the big heavy hitters in separate packs. They each come with a unique color wave of key blaster, and yeah, they're kind of cool. And I brought this up and I pulled this down from the RPM display up there, but it kind of reminds me of the Bumblebee one that they did a while back. Just trying to hold it in a way that just shows just the front end. There we go. You know, so very very cool. But it is what it is. These things apparently are only $5. So yeah, $5, two cars. They're die cast. I don't know how big they are. I haven't seen them in person yet. And very cool. Very, very cool. A nice little penny racer launcher thing, like Link CW said, pretty much. Yeah, there's a lot of different, like burning key cars is the one I'm familiar with, because I believe Matchbox was the ones who invented that idea. Again, my dad's a die-cast collector, and that's his, especially the 60s and the 70s of die-cast and the 50s. So that's what I'm familiar with that. But yeah, very, very cool. Again, $5 can't go wrong. Two die-cast cars. I mean, man, how much did RPMs cost back in the day? And granted, yeah, it's Hasbro and it's, their quality, but that's not bad for 2026, not bad. Then we got one that transforms, but on its own. The teaser for the upcoming pre-order for RoboSen Soundwave. So coming up very, very, very soon, December 4th, will be the pre-order drop for the next RoboSen. Of course, it's going to be the Soundwave. It's not going to be this week coming up. It will be the next week. I believe it'll be a Transformer Thursday. I remember saying this was going to be on. I know that it was a Tuesday or a Thursday this is going to drop. I think it's a Thursday. And so, yeah, December 4th. That whole thing, that like, there's a few different topics because there's a few things that are going to be dropping that weekend, because between that and the CCXP, which we'll probably get into, which will probably be one of the upcoming slides here. Actually, no, this one first we'll cover. But yeah, so let me just go back to the Soundwave then. But so yeah, this guy, we got Soundwave. I want to assume it's going to be the tape cassette. I'm looking at this, assuming this silhouette truly represents what is the RoboSen item. I don't know. It looks too much like a Cyberverse Soundwave, which is much more of that, minivan kind of bulk and shape. But maybe maybe this art doesn't represent the product. Maybe the product is perfectly a tape cassette and just pulls it off every time around. So we will see. But very, very cool. Very, very cool. Very, very expensive, I imagine, too. I imagine so. I'm guessing with this one here, considering they listed it as a flagship item, I'm imagining I'm imagining easily $1,000, probably. They're gonna pull it off. They're gonna be able to make it an $1,000 item, and people are gonna buy it. Not me, but people are gonna buy it. Uh, I think RoboSends are cool. They're just not $1,000 cool. You know, there's people that are like, I've never gone to Japan. I've never gone to a TFCon. I've never gone to this or that. But then they'll buy a RoboSend for $1,000. Woo! Yeah, save the money. It's cool engineering. Don't get me wrong, but goodness, the things that you could get in your life or Transformer related for $1,000. Think about how many Hot Wheels Traxxas you could have bought. Yeah. Either way. Then we got some pre-orders from Hasbro Pulse that dropped. These are still available for pre-order. We got the G2 team that is now confirmed. And of course, the Feudal Japan Timelines, Optimus and Starscream, the Bullwagon the Bullwagon Optimus with the Tengu Starscream. That's a pretty cool set. Top one is going to be available in April 2026. The bottom one will be available in May 2026. Very cool stuff. Prices are as to be expected. I'm not surprised in the case of the Dinobots. The last 2-pack was the same price, so this time around, no different. 1 penny more than if you would have bought 2 liters on its own. That's pretty much it. You know, definitely that. Kabuto. Conversational piece in your collection. That's about it, but it's definitely a short conversation. That's for sure. It's like, hey, check this out. Optimus, yes. Transform. Oh, that's cool. Anyways, and then you move on with your life. you know, I always feel that it's, the sad reality with RoboSen is before they were RoboSen, they were a company called Sen Power. We talked about this years ago when Jaws D was still on the podcast regularly. And they were selling like the Optimus, and at the time they had a Constructicon scavenger, and they were selling them for like $170, $200. So it was very clear, that there's a markup here with a license and everything, but it is what it is. You know, I understand how the beans are done and how the beans are counted in that of the industry. It's just sometimes how one could spend money is the most important thing. And speaking of spending money, here's something cool. Let's talk about some pre-orders that'll be coming up in the super near future, because we have a Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Devastation Bumblebee and a Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Transformers 1 Orion packs with COG. And man, oh man, I'm excited about that Orion packs. Love Transformers 1. I feel that for a movie that was as epic as it was, we were really short-changed on transformable product. It's slowly happening. I mean, yeah, Blockies is doing great with their stuff, and there's all kinds of model kits from YOLO Park and everything. But in terms of Hasbro Direct or Takara Direct transformable product, very slow to market, despite the fact that it's been already over a year since this movie has come out. It's wild when we think about it, how, every past movie that we've gotten up to this point, going all the way back to 1986, even if you want to go with that, has always had product that truly represented those characters on the highest level right out of the gate in some shape or form. Even Rise of the Beast, But it's kind of wild how this was not the case this time, and this was the best movie out of all of them. Hot take, maybe 86 movie, there's an argument there, but I mean, it's wild. It's wild. So nice to finally get Orion. He's going to come with his mining tool, so that's very cool. The Bumblebee is a brand new sculpt, so that's going to be something that's going to lean more in towards his classics looking alt mode. That's much more of that like European hatchback, not hatchback kind of thing going on. So that's very awesome. These supposedly are going to be revealed. See, and here's where all the funny dates happen. The pre-order for the Soundwave, December 5th. the reveal for these guys, December 5th. And the CCXP, which is the Comic-Con experience in Brazil where the Hasbro crew is going to be, is also going to be probably happening in the middle of it, December 6th. 5th and 6th is going to be their panels. So we're probably going to be seeing these guys in person with deeper explanations during CCXP. So stay tuned for that. We'll have more info on it. And we'll have some more updates and announcements with CCXP. Nate from marketing informed us of that's going to be happening with new reveals. It has been confirmed during their panel, and stuff will be in person in the glass cases. So we'll definitely see some brand new stuff for sure. And that's not it, because also December 5th, again, it's all happening that weekend, is going to be the debut of the final, I guess we'll call it, batch of episodes. They're calling it 2 specials here, but the finale of Transformers Earthspark, quote, season 4, which we'll get into in a moment. I'm excited about it. A lot of cool characters, showing up in the clutch, be it Octopunch, Scorponok, and Mirage. Can't deny a Formula One, and a certain flame-chested, character that I absolutely love to death, and in no way is going to hopefully steal the show. But very interesting. The big bad, supposedly, according to the marketing team of Hasbro, is Liege Maximo. We had some TFU.info individual images that confirm that through the marketing team. So we will see how that all goes down. Again, that'll be December 5th on Paramount Plus. And that will be the end of Earthspark. And, the sad reality with Earthspark, I feel like I should be having this conversation after the last episode's aired, but it is something I do want to talk about now, is the unfortunate reality of Earthspark and the success that it didn't have. It had a rocky start in terms of viewership. The toy lines just were not, let me just go grab prime examples. They were just never up to par. And then they would just always end up on mega clearance. This right here, this Alita one was red tagged at a beautiful $9 Canadian, which is about $6 American. And what was this supposed to be? Originally $14.99. So this stuff got red tagged like crazy. Same thing. I got the Twitch here. I opened up the Optimus already that I showed last week. Not a single figurine from this line did I ever buy at full price. It just did not do well. It just was, no one was buying the toys. The ratings were really low. The reception was hit or miss. Even me personally, there was stuff that I liked about it. There was good ideas in there, but there was also ideas that I would have done without. I think that while the Molto family in itself could be considered interesting, it's too much humans. I am a staunch believer that the name of the show, it's a hot take, is called Transformers. And the products that you sell are Transformers. Yeah, okay, but Proto Man, where is she? Where did I put Robbie? Not Robbie, Mo. Yeah, you'll get the one odd human character, and Lord knows this thing only came out at the end of the line when it's all said and done. But the show's called Transformers. The marketing is Transformers. The toys, which is what this whole show exists to be, is Transformers. When the humans make up 60 to 70 to 80% of the show, I feel you lose a lot of the different strategies of what the whole purpose of the show was. Let's be real, it's to sell toys. That's the whole point of the marketing. That's the whole point of the marketing. And it's something where, to me, I just feel that you need to be able to ultimately, in the end, recognize that. And the sad reality is, so I don't want to point him out because I don't want to give too much information because it might point out who this individual is. But I have an individual who was working in Hasbro West Coast on Transformers Earthspark and working on the new series. That's all I'm going to say. I could say that much because I know that a lot of people that worked on Earthspark also are working on the new stuff. And he said a lot of people got fired after Earthspark. A lot of people from West Coast. There was a group of individuals that came into that project and had their own idea of what this series should be, and it didn't work out. And they had high hopes for season 1, and when season 1 was rolling, they already greenlit season 2 without even know if season 1 was doing well. So that's why we have 26 episodes for season 1, and season 2, 3, and 4 are like broken up into pieces because season 2 was 26 episodes also. But if you look at the math, season 2 was, what was it, 14, 12, and then you had season 3 is 10, and then season 4 is like technically 8, but those 8 are going to be turned into 2 2-hour specials, or whatever, 1 hour and 20-minute specials. So it didn't do well. Wasn't well received. I feel as time progresses, it's going to fall into that same category that maybe Transformers RID 2015 falls into, which is these kind of series that are kind of whatever. They have their moments, but in general are kind of bland and forgettable. I look at Transformers Headmasters, one of the Takara 3. Yeah, hey, it has its moments, cool scenes, double convoy with Rodimus or the death of Ultra Magnus. Had a few cool scenes here and there, the battle with Soundwave and Blaster. But in general, a slog of a series as a whole got really boring especially in the second half of it. Yeah, Six Shot is kind of cool in it. Again, it has its moments, but as a whole, not a really good series. And why after Headmasters in Japan, they took a completely different direction. Headmasters was so underwhelmingly received in Japan that Master Force just had to go in a completely direction that it did in order to get a new audience. And it did do well, Master Force. One time when you can do something well with humans, because it is the product. Every human in Master Force also was the product. That's how you do it. If you're going to make the humans 60, 80% of the show, it better be 60 to 80% of the product. If you're making a Transformer movie, and this is the weakness with a lot of the live action movies, if they make the live action movies 60 to 80% of the product, the human characters, they better be a majority of it. And to be fair, the first Michael Bay movie, there was a lot of Sam Witwicky and Michaela merchandise. They tried. I mean, was it any good? Well, that's debatable, but they tried. So I don't want to go on a long-winded thing, but it's always been a mess. It's always been a mess. T-Formers 2000, yeah, it's known that a bunch of the season 1 writers were axed, which explains the poor season 2. Well, I mean, what happened is a lot of people got axed, and then they scrambled because by the time they realized, because you have to understand, by the time that they realized that the show wasn't doing well, they had already completed a chunk of season 2, and they had to change everything. And I guarantee, I wouldn't be surprised, because when you watch the show, it almost feels sometimes like the episodes are out of order also. Like they're all kind of standalone, but there is no continuity. So it's one of these things. I feel like someone's going to get interviewed like 10 years from now when the NDAs have cooled off, and we're going to realize just how much of a mess this show was. But with me, if toys don't sell well, then it didn't do its job. It didn't do its job. And it's something where I wasn't entertained. Again, there's moments. I like breakdown. Certain aspects with Bumblebee were fun. The Multos, there's glimmers of ideas there that could have been done more, especially when it comes to the kids being, I guess, engaging with the Transformers. But it wasn't fleshed out properly. Where you could, you look at someone like Sari, who never had any product at all from Transformers Animated outside of like a third party. I'm looking at the third party little Sari figure that they did. But you look at a character like Sari, but because she was so well received and Animated was so well received that it was okay for her to be there. Well, it was just, I don't know. It's such a shame how this didn't do well. And I felt that it hurt the half-hour format so much that going into Transformers Cyberworld, where I got a lot of friends that work on that, Again, shout out to Josh Perez and his amazing box art that he did on all of them. If you ever see Josh Perez at a Transformer convention, get a Cyber World figurine signed by him because he was a big proponent of that. I also work with him on the Mega Man brand, so kind of an unfair comparison there too. But um, but yeah, like great people work on Cyberworld. But the sad thing is Cyberworld being a 4-minute segment thing was because of the lack of success of Earthspark and them having to. And hey, congrats to Josh and Allie and the whole crew who get to work on Cyberworld, and it's fun. I like the toys; they're affordable. But wouldn't it have been great? Wouldn't it have been great if it was like a half-hour show? A lot of good ideas there, but it's how I would have handled it. There's a lot of smart stuff that has to be done. Kabuto, I'm willing to put my chips on that Transformer show by the Invincible creator if they ever find a buyer. Well, again, I think Robert Kirkman, as you're referring to Kabuto, will probably be a big boon for it. I think that we will get a lot of non-Transformer viewers watching it, and that is very important. We cannot have a hobby where we rely just on ourselves. You could gatekeep Transformers in terms of the storytelling, in terms of maybe even just taking care of each other when it comes to collecting, but you can't gatekeep it when it comes to purchasing and when it comes to engagement of the brand. We have to have people from the outside enjoying it too. And that's where if it takes a Robert Kirkman who did Invincible and The Walking Dead to get people's eyeballs onto Transformers and then lead to a new generation of fans, which we constantly have to be generating. We always have to have a new generation of fans coming in. There's guys that are going to be in their 60s and 70s who are retiring and out of the hobby, and you have to have guys in their 10s and their teens and then their 20s coming into the hobby. And thank goodness for the Michael Bay movies because that took care of the guys who are in their 20s and 30s now. Even the late teens, but the 20s and 30s, the Michael Bay movies brought in that new generation. But who's bringing in the generation that's going to replace them one day? Let alone replacing me. I'm already. Who cares? I don't matter. I'm the old guy that creates. I'm not the guy who's supposed to be consuming at this point. So it is what it is. But yeah, so that's going to be happening December 5th. I hope it turns out well. Definitely not going to get a Hot Rod figure out of it at this point. Maybe they'll just repaint that Cyberverse one and it won't be Prowl, but it is what it is. Earthspark already is canceled in Japan. I don't think it got past the season 2 episodes. They kind of just gave up on it. It didn't do well. It was very poorly received in Japan. And the toys, let me tell you, when I went to Japan and I was looking for the Wild King stuff, all the Earthspark stuff was just it was on mega clearance. And I would have bought it all on mega clearance, but it's do I want to fill the limited amount of space that I have in my suitcase for, think about it, right? Real talk. Would you want this to fill my suitcase space or this? I'll take this 10 days of the week. And there's not 10 days in a week, but if there's 10 days in a week, I'll take that every 10 days of the week. Give me a Wild King any day. So pick those up instead. But yeah, so there's that. So December 5th, Paramount Plus. Check that out. And lastly, again, a reminder. What's up, Horned Owl? And a reminder, again, Black Friday. Let's talk Black Friday now. So what do we got? Let me get some water in me because it's going to be a big one. Always got to stay hydrated. So Black Friday coming up. Let's talk about it. Friday, November 28th. Some of you guys will get some midnight sales on the Thursday going into the Friday. Some of them will just show up early Friday for this. This is the Walmart pallet that is planned. This image comes courtesy of a Walmart distribution center sitting on a pallet right now to be shipped to a Walmart. And we will be getting the 2 packs, 2 for 1. So the price of one deluxe, you get two, and I mean, there's Age of Prime stuff there. Hey, you didn't get Solus, I didn't get Solus. You know, I could get me a Solus Prime, and I'll get a free aerial bot with it, or I could get myself like a Bumblebee and get a G2 breakdown. Although I mean, I already have that Bumblebee, but the point is that there's Studio Series items, there's Age of the Primes items, there's Legacy United items, 2 for 1, fantastic price. Bring it, if you think about it, like the MSRP for an individual comes to about $28, $27.99 for deluxes today. If you 50% that, because it's a 2 for 1, that's $14. You know when Transformers were $14? Do you remember when a deluxe Transformer was $14? It's called Revenge of the Fallen, going into Dark of the Moon. Like, that's how long ago that was. So to be able to buy deluxes like it's Revenge of the Fallen again, dare I say, it's crazy when you think about it, 15 to 16 to 17 years ago between Dark of the Moon. Yeah, man, I'm down for that. I'm down for that. Give me that. And there's plenty of this inventory. So I heavily suggest if you're doing a midnight Black Friday or a early Friday morning, check out your local Walmart for that. Target supposedly is also going to be doing something similar. We don't know exactly yet, but they also have some plans. Also, if you're in the video game sphere, there's going to be a lot of cool video game deals and everything. So, yeah, Pepperidge Farm does remember Lizard Sphere X. But man, it's looking crazy, and just want to make sure if I took any more on my phone here, because I was gonna make slides of this, but I came home late. Oh yeah, so there's gonna be these bad boys. All of the core classes are ending up on full pegs there. Jeez, is that blurry? Let me just zoom in there. So this is $7.99 Canadian, which is about $5 USD. All the core classes. So you got Tasmanian Kid on there. That's going to be at Burlington Coat Factory and not Ollie's, Ross. And of course you got a lot of Transformer One product that'll be there. I'm trying to think. I didn't take a lot of other photos, but so a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff that's kicking around. $14.99. That's about right. That's about right. I know I have my list somewhere. I keep forgetting to keep the slide up, but I have my list of all the prices throughout the years when it all slowly started to trickle up because they knew the money was there, you know? So it's something where, yeah, look forward to that. And that's it more or less for the news and talk, but definitely with the Black Friday stuff, we'll talk more. But we do have some new announcements from some of our sponsor stuff. So let's get into that. So Symbiote Studios, starting today, the brand new full-scale plushes are going to be available on their website, symbiotestudios.com. The Commander Convoy, the Scheming Starscream, the Brave Bumblebee, and the Superior Soundwave. All the large-scale plushes, which just grab one to show you the comparison difference. Where's Soundwave? One moment, guys. Get a little of my butt for a moment. So here's the normal Soundwave, and this is the larger ones. So these ones are much larger. They also chill if they want on your officially Hasbro license with their tags. So this is the Superior Soundwave, but all of them are now available on the website right now. Throw you guys over here. Sorry, Starscream. But yeah, so they're on the website, and also the Autobot and Decepticon pillow are on Black Friday, early Black Friday sale starting now. So you can pick those up 50% off, and a lot of good stuff happening. And I just want to give a shout out to Symbiote Studios, guys. The Grimlock t-shirt can only be found in the Catnip Bravo section of the website. Can't be found on the Transformer section. So if you want the Grimlock t-shirt, you have to go to the Catnip Bravo section until they update the website. So just little note there. So check those out. Looking good. Looking real good. Brand new plushes. And of course, Swoop will be debuting at TFCon LA. So stay tuned for that one to complete your Dinobot collection. Swoop will not be a TFCon exclusive. He will just be debuting at TFCon. So stay tuned for that one too. And then, of course, they have their whole line of My Little Pony stuff. There is a lot of new My Little Pony stuff that they put out. My goodness, if you are a brony, you are in heaven right now. Look at this collection. They got literally everything but the new stuff that they debuted. They're doing a pin set of pony stuff, and because the winter holidays are starting, you have the winter holiday upgrade kit for your ponies. Hey man, it's all Hasbro. What do you know? I don't know anything about ponies. Oh wait, I got one here. It's because of her, not me. I swear. I swear. I swear. I swear. Anyways, but yeah, you got the My Little Pony stuff too. But what's awesome for us Magic the Gathering people, Symbiote Studios also has a brand new pin collection of Magic the Gathering stuff. I want that Rakdos one. Oh, that Rakdos one looks really cool. So they have some Magic the Gathering pin sets that are also available on Symbiote Studios. All the Hasbro branded stuff that sponsor the podcast. Again, here's the thing about this podcast. I get sponsorship opportunities all the time. And I am so rude with these sponsors because I always tell them, look, it's not my vibe. It's not my flavor. It's not my audience. Sometimes their demands are crazy, and they're like, to me, I feel sponsors have to truly represent what we talk about here, and no better than a Hasbro licensee. And again, thank you, Symbiote Studios, for everything that you guys do for us. So check that out. I'm rocking their Catnip Optimus shirt because I love this shirt. I love this. I have like three of them because I wear them out. But yeah, man, good stuff. Good stuff. So again, check out their Magic the Gathering pins. Man, I want those. Those look really good. Those look really good. They have the box set down there at the bottom. They have the individual packed ones of different characters, like loot and everything. So check them out, yo. And then the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. Aaron's popping and locking. We're going to have a new episode out very, very soon. Real talk about earbuds. We'll talk earbuds for a moment, and then we'll get into some Aaron love. So I've had Raycon earbuds contact me, and the thing with them is I think earbuds are garbage. Um, they actually cause health issues for people. They're RF signals. There's a lot of. Don't listen to me. I'm not a doctor. Look up earbuds, Apple EarPods, any of that stuff. That stuff's not good for you. And whenever I see a content creator shilling Raycon earbuds, it's like, wow, you'll just take the money and not care about the health of your audience. Like it's insane. I would never want to have Raycon. And they contacted us. They want, hey, do you want to? It's like, no, why would I want to encourage my audience to buy something that's not good for your health? They have all, look, again, don't take my word for it. Read up on it. There's a whole bunch of studies that have been done with these earbuds and stuff that are just not good for you. It's not. So either way, just wanted to kind of put that. There's been a lot of sketchy sponsorship stuff. You have to be careful, guys. A lot of times when you have content creators that have sponsors, like I've told you guys this story before, but for new people in the audience, I'll never forget Established Titles. Established Titles contacted me and they're like, hey, like we think your audience would think it's so cool if they could become a lord or a baron. They buy a piece of land and they get a title and everything. And I was like, man, that sounds sketchy as hell. And I was like, no, thank you. What I always do with these guys, I don't say no, thank you. I go, I'll do it for $1,000 a read. Like I'll say something like outlandish so that way I don't seem rude. I just seem like I'm a high value individual. And they always say no when you say, I'll do $1,000 a read if you want. And they always say no, and that gets them to go away. But man, oh man, it's just something where like it's good to have sponsors that are actually related to the brands. Joseph Ryder with the 31 YouTube member. Happy upcoming Thanksgiving to you. It's true Canadian Thanksgiving, if that matters. I'll get myself a Costco chicken and call it a day. Thank you, Joseph. But yeah, so that's always important. So be careful with that. Be careful with that. BetterHelp. Maybe that one could be good. That's the one that's like therapy or something. I don't know. I've always been such a positive individual that sometimes I don't think you need to worry about therapy if you just have a good friend group. But I guess therapy is important if you don't have a good friend group. But Kabuto, I want to be a lord. Thanks for ruining that for well, I think it was a lord or a baron. I think it was something I remember it was like you buy a piece of land and then they plant a tree on that piece of land. So that was the whole like, ecological, like good part of it that they were trying. And then they end up finding out that the whole thing was a scam. And I'm like, whoo, thank God I didn't do that one. Yeah. Yeah. Rodimus Supreme, brother. I'm telling you, read up on it. Read up on it, my friend. They're doing a lot of studies now with these earbuds, and it's not looking good. I told my wife too. She has a pair of those iPod earpods that she spent an insane amount of money on. Now she's like exclusively just using speakerphone now. I'm telling you, read up on it. Sometimes people don't find out that it's bad for you until the companies aren't making money from it anymore. Let's put it that way. That was the early days of the cell phones when they were causing all kinds of brain tumors and stuff. When I mean the early days, I'm talking like 1980s cell phones. But things have changed since then. But yeah. Oh, it's U.S. Thanksgiving. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not a big like holiday guy. Like I'm just whatever. I enjoy life. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Let's see. But yeah. So Toy Armada. Don't want to get off topic. Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. We have a new segment that will be coming soon. Aaron is in transit right now of moving. He's going back and forth between Ohio and Rhode Island, so he's getting some stuff done. So when he has a moment to sit down and chill, we'll be talking about a new Transformer segment. A lot of good stuff going on. And of course, pick up a Posca painting from Aaron. He worked on a bunch of new ones recently. They've all sold out. So this is what's available still on the website. Every time he makes new ones, they sell out quickly. I'm sure if you follow him on Instagram or on his Facebook, or Aaron doesn't use Twitter anymore, but some of the others, you'll see that he's been pumping out new ones and they've been selling just as quickly. So grab them while you can. archermonster.com/shop. Get yourself a nice one. How is that Scavenger one not sold yet? Scavenger is awesome in Transformers Armada. How is he not sold? Yes, his toy is a brick, but his character is awesome. How is he not sold yet? That one's great. But check that out. Awesome stuff. And of course, my Mega Man comic. So I actually didn't do a slide of this. So I have an announcement. So Don Figueroa of War Within fame and the designer of all of the Transformers Titaniums line will be working on a exclusive cover for my Mega Man book. He will be doing a awesome Mega Man cover from Armored Armadillo stage. But there is more. We have curated a whole bunch of legendary Transformer artists throughout the eons that will be doing exclusive Mega Man covers hopefully we'll reveal them over the next couple of months or so. But so Don is going to be like, obviously Josh Perez did the Legends cover. Don Figueroa is going to be doing Mega Man X issue number 1, cover C. And then we have some others. I can't announce them yet, but big names, you know those names. And they're going to be also contributing to some awesome Mega Man covers on my book. So we got some great stuff going. But for the time being, again, Mega Man special issue number 0, a prequel issue. Pre-orders are up right now on udon.com, not Udon, udonentertainment.com, or you could go to your local comic book shop and support your local comic book shop and ask them for Mega Man X issue number 0 for pre-order. These are all the different covers that we have thus far. The cover on the far right, the Ladies of X cover. That's a web exclusive on Udon Entertainment. But all the others are available through your local comic book shop. Pick those up. This is a special issue 0, which will feature Chamba as the artist for this one, with different covers from all kinds of talented folks and everything. More covers to be shown, but great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. Check it out, yo. And then, of course, we'll have the ongoing series starting with issue number 1 in February. This will debut in January, and then February will be the beginning with issue number 1, where you'll be able to get that Don Figueroa cover and everything else. Everything's looking great. Everything's looking X. Good stuff. And again, check out that Josh Perez cover. That's going to be available at the end of the month. Check out that one too with Mr. Joshua Perez. That's a hot cover. You know me, if I'm going to be controlling the Mega Man brand from now on, then it's just going to be nothing but Transformer stuff finding its way into it. You know? And I'm glad the Mega Man fans understand my madness, because I'm still a hardcore Mega Man fan, and I'm going to make it loyal to the source material, but I'm going to give my friends some jobs too. Good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, Lizard Sphere X, them missile silos on roll. Actually, that's supposed to be Alia. So here, I'll even do a little zoom in for you guys. Let's do a little zoom in for the ladies of X. So that's drawn by Atomic Mushroom. Atomic Marshmallow. Excuse me. Atomic Marshmallow is the artist on that. Very talented lady, and she's going to be doing so. Each cover of my books is going to be a connecting piece of art. So this one here is one of 6 covers that are going to be the ladies of Mega Man X. So the first cover here is going to obviously be Iris from Mega Man X4 and Alia that debuted in Mega Man X5. And then if you could kind of see on the bottom right there, there's somebody's hand over there. So that's going to connect to the next cover, and they're going to be all across. There's going to be some cool deep cuts. There's going to be a whole bunch of them, but it's all going to be the lovely ladies of the Mega Man X brando. So, because, yeah, got to celebrate the ladies of the brand, because they are awesome too. And also because, real talk, when you put a lady on a cover, it sells well. So, you know, Scott C. Campbell and all of those made millions of dollars from that. So, but great stuff. Tom Laney, what's up, my man? How you doing? Young, how you doing too? Lizard Sphere X, what's up? So that's all that's popping off too. So there's that. Now next, so let's talk about some interesting stuff. Oh, almost dropped this boy. So what did we get? So last week I went to a buddy of mine, picked this up on the cheap. Guess what? He found the other half, although they technically came from 2 other box sets. So now I got both of them, although the head is tucked in here. So I got both of the humans now from Transformers Earthspark. Yay, I guess. They could combine and do some weird shenanigans that are not incestual. But yeah, they'll do the combine mode or something. I don't know how this works. Something like this. We're doing it live. I think it goes like this. This is the first time I'm doing it, actually. So then it attaches like this, I guess. How does this work with the combining? Oh, there we go. Goes like that. And then I guess you open this. And then this piece. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Whatever. So there's that. Very cool. Pick that up. And then he also got this one here. Nice little shark dude, aka Gel Shark, aka Skybite. This was, I believe, this was one of the early Cyberverse ones, if I remember correctly. If not the Authentics, but I think this was from Cyberverse, this one. So very, very cool, this one. Anytime I see a Gel Shark or a Cyber Shark or Skybite, love them. Love them. Love him. And I love how his transformation is fairly simple, just like that. Who's the best fish of them all? Love that. How's the plastic? Plastic is terrible. Both the Cyber Shark and these, not very good. But it is what it is. The Cyber Shark, too, is very chintzy kind of plastic, unfortunately. It's a Cyberverse 1-step. That's what I figured, because it's very quick, the transformation. It's like literally like, and then boom. And then There you go. You know, so it's the one-step one. I think it's cool. I dig it. I dig it. Again, it goes into the Cyber Shark, Yell Shark, Skybite collection. You know, that's how it works. Storm Eagle is going to be one of my best books, in my opinion. Let's put it that way. The Storm Eagle book I wrote is incredible. I love it. So, where's my phone too? Because I want to show afterwards the store space. So I went off the island with the lovely lady, and pretty much because there was a new Asian supermarket that was kind of like 45 minutes away from our home, so we drove out to that because she wanted to go check that out. And there was a whole bunch of cool stuff there, let me tell you. Let me just put aside this stuff, and we'll talk about this stuff after. But what was really cool is they just had like all of this, like, you know, cheap Chinese bootleggy kind of stuff. So they had these model kits that kind of look like Gundams, but not really. Let me try to blow up the photo. One moment. Try to blow it up better. That'll do. So they had like these little like end cap displays, and they would have these boxes. It's like a not Gundam, kind of like a Blockies box, and very cool. Like I didn't open it yet, but it looked cool on the display. There's the name of it. Xing Fei Yang. Xing Fei Yang. This was, do I have the price on it? I think it was $2.99 Canadian. So probably like a $1.50 American. So very cool. So I bought one. If it's really awesome, I'm going to go back and buy the others. But speaking of buying the others, what else did they have here? And this is really cool. Let me just close this. Zhang Fei, you know what it is? Three Kingdom. Oh, okay, so you know what it is. I don't know. These things look cool. So they have a huge display of these. I went off the island to Futai, if you're know Montreal. Futai had a whole bunch of these on display. I guess because the holidays are coming up, and between Spring Festival in China and obviously Christmas coming up, so they have like a whole bunch of just toys now. So I was just like, man, for $2.99, I'll pull a trigger. I'll see how that is. That's cool looking. Nice red robot, very Char Gundam, Cassiville Gundam. If you know, you know. Beyblade reboot. Which one? The new Beyblade. And then couldn't say no to this. Couldn't say no to this. So they had a display of the number transforming robots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. So I bought them all. So here's number 1. Transforms into a tank. And they come in these nice little boxes. And by the way, they all transform and they also combine. These were $1 each. So there's no way in hell I was leaving without the full set of these. This one transforms into like some kind of drill thing. Number 2. Number 3 is a humanoid robot. Number 4 is some kind of jet. Number 5, in red, because I love red, some kind of like attack robot. Very cool. Number 6, in Constructicon colors, is a construction vehicle. Nice touch. Wait, oh, it's got to do that. If you're a boomer, this will make you giggle. If you're a Gen Alpha, oh, this will make you giggle. Anyways. Number 7, there's that one there. Number 8, some kind of like bird kind of thing. Very cool. Number 9 is a scooter. And number 0 is a car. And again, they all combine. They transform individually, but they also combine. So I bought the full set of these, and the full set of them only cost me like $10 before taxes. So very, very cool. And, back in the day, I had bootleggy kind of stuff of this. Some other company did that. but I thought they were. Again, I love the engineering of transforming stuff. I just have a passion for that. And so whenever I see bootleg stuff that's unique sculpts and unique tooling, sorry, I'm just trying to put them all away here. Like I gotta buy it. I got it, and they were cheap as hell. Next proto retro review. You know what? Maybe I'll do a YouTube short. The last one got what? The last one got a quarter of a million views. The last one. It shows that if I went back to doing toy reviews, I'd be crushing it. But I like doing this. This is more fun. Joseph Ryder with the gold super chat at $10. Some dummy forgot to tell you Black Friday deals. Spend $100, get $10 gift card, and 25% off Chibi TF plushes. So if you go to symbiotestudios.com and spend over $100, you get a $10 gift card and 25% off your Transformer plush purchases, meaning this style, the chibi style. Sound away. Check that out. Thank you for the gold super chat, Joseph. So yeah, so those are awesome. Again, if you're in the Montreal or Laval area, go off the island. Futai in the area. I don't remember the street it's on, unfortunately. It's just it's the one that we go to. Has a whole bunch of these. And then I don't know if Young, if you say these are awesome, oh my god, I can't wait to open one now. You're gonna make me want to go back and buy the others. They had like all the colors of the rainbow. Like there were so many cool ones there. Let me zoom in on that again. Like that's the display, you know? Nice, cool display there. See that empty spot? That would have been the other red one. Gee, I wonder who took that. Someone bought the orange one there too and the blue one. So very, very cool. Very, very cool. And again, I think this was $2.99. So can't go wrong with that. Can't go wrong with that. But yeah, but we're not done. Then we did some early Black Friday hunting around, and there wasn't much out yet. Some stores are doing early Black Friday, some are still waiting. So she got this. So this is an Animal Crossing Lego set. She's the Lego nutcase in this house. She really is just always about the minifigs. So she got this set here. Now this set, she was actually quite happy with the price. Apparently, that's the Black Friday price. $24 Canadian, which is about like $17 American. So supposedly that's really good for this set. That's what she said. I don't know my Lego things. I just go, okay, if it's expensive or not. I go by Creo prices, and yeah, this would definitely be more than $17 if it was Creo prices. Creo would have probably been like 25, $30 for this, but she says this was a good price, so she was very happy with that. So she picked that up with her Animal Crossing. I played the game. I never really knew much else outside of that, just the game stuff. And this is the new ones, the new game. So there's that. And I picked up from the GameStop off the island. They were doing a Black Friday promotion where if you bought any Mario merchandise, you got like a free like pin or something. So depending on what you bought, so I got Peach there. She came with a little pin thing. I don't have this. This is the basic scale Peach that has that limited articulation. So I picked that one up. If they would have had a Shy Guy, I would have got that. But they had Peach, Mario, Luigi, Toad, Bowser, and I think Kamek was the other one. I was like, yeah, sure, okay. So I picked that up. This was $3 Canadian. So again, $2, $1.50 American. Not bad. Can't go wrong with that. That's good. Is it a good deal? I don't know. Okay, that's a good deal. Because she was saying how it was a great price. That's why when she saw it, she's like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, "Okay, if you say so." Lego. I am. It's crazy how in this house, no joke, one of the largest vintage Lego collections you will ever see mint in box. Like no joke in this house, and I know absolutely nothing about it. I know what's valuable, mostly because she schooled me on it. Because like the UNICEF Lego sets, we had the UNICEF Lego set at one point. Look on YouTube. Only one person has ever reviewed the rarest Lego set of all time, the UNICEF Lego set. You know who did it? Me. And I had no idea. I had no idea. And we ended up selling that set because in the end, she rather have the money. We ended up selling that set for $5,000 American. Whatever. I took the money. She was more than happy to take the money. Um, excuse me, Kazuya with the $2 super chat. Did you see and talk about the new knockoff Black Zarek? No, I did not see that. They're doing a G1 knockoff Black Zarek. Does it deal with the GPS properly? When did this happen? When did this happen, my friend? I did not know about that. The new Mario movie coming. I'm looking forward to it. I liked the last one quite a bit. I liked the last Mario movie quite a bit. So I'm looking forward to the next one. I mean, full transparency, I was a Mario kid growing up. Like, when I look back, Nintendo was probably so much of because you have to understand something. Transformers for me started in 1986 and then easily went away just as quick. So between like 87, 88, 89, you have Ninja Turtles and you had Nintendo. That was my life. Like the Transformer era of my life was Atari 2600 and Transformers, you know, and Knight Rider and WWF wrestling with giant LJN rubber figures. Like that was like a different era, my younger era, but like man, like Nintendo was a huge part of my childhood, and I love the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, and I bought the old little PVC figures back in the day. I still have it all. Like I'm a Transformer collector, and I'm a video game merchandise collector. That's why I love video game merch. That's why I love Mega Man. That's why my screen name is Proto Man. So so it's something where you know Ninjatron. I just want to read what Ninjatron wrote, even though it's not a super chat. I was also a Mario kid, and Sonic can kick rocks. Well, you know what, Ninjatron? I remember. I think it was grade 6 for me in grade school. I remember a friend of mine. Should I say his name? I'll call him Mr. C. That's it. Mr. C said something that was so very true. And he said that there is Super Nintendo kids and then there were Sega Genesis kids. And what he meant by that was Super Nintendo kids came from well off families, not like rich, but like well off of the mind, the nuclear family, mom, dad, brother, sister, the dog, you know, and the Sega Genesis kids were divorced moms, divorced dad, the kid who's trying to overcompensate. And this is not me who's saying this. And it's funny because at the time when he said it, I was thinking back and I'm like, man, every kid that I knew back then that was like the Sega Genesis kid. Yeah, my Mortal Kombat has blood, stick it to it. Nintendo does what Nintendo don't and all that. And, blast processing. And I would always think about those kids back then. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like it was always the weird kid whose mom was divorced from the dad and he doesn't see his dad that often, you know, where like all the kids who grew up on Nintendo were normal. I don't know. I don't know. Ninjatron, Mr. C, Clinton. That's all I'm going to say. I'm so worried that some weirdo is going to go through like the yearbooks and try to find my name and find out who Clinton. But Clinton was on to something. Let's put it that way. Clinton was on something. Today it's different. Now everyone's into everything, so you can't really say that. But back then, I think he was on to something. I think he really was. I don't know. I don't know. That was him. But when he said it, I started thinking to myself, I'm like, the few kids that I knew that had Sega, because so many kids I knew growing up, they had a Nintendo and then they had a Super Nintendo. And it was, very rare that you had, it was funny because every time I met a kid who had a Sega, like a Sega Genesis, it was like their first console too. Like they didn't have like a Nintendo before or a Master System or like I don't know, let's go with a TurboGrafx 16, trying to think of something that's not Nintendo branding that would have been around that same time, but or CDI. Actually, that would have been Nintendo branding a little bit, but But yeah, man, it is what it is. Tom Laney with the Titan re-release selling out. Does this tell Hasbro that there's still a market for $200 plus figures? Well, I think it's also because I find that Triptychon is so old that that had a demand, and that really showed that people really wanted that. Excuse me. We ate like kings this weekend. A lot of Asian food we had today. We'll get into that in a moment. I have like tons of garlic in me. Um, but yeah, Game Boy was your first console. Well, that's a great way to start. I would have to say, if I had to log what was the most hours I've put into a console, it would be like a three. Like it's either like the Super Nintendo, even though I grew up on the Nintendo, and like I mean, I started with the Atari, but like Super Nintendo is probably up there. Game Boy, primarily because of Pokemon and Zelda and Metroid 2. Those three games alone ate up tons of hours. And the funny thing with Game Boy was I didn't have a Game Boy growing up, but we had a Super Game Boy because we had a Super Nintendo. And I just remember me and my sister, we went to Toys R Us and we pulled together all our money that we had because we didn't have a lot of money. So we had to buy our own gifts. So whenever we did get money from relatives, we pulled all our money together and together we bought the Super Game Boy and Link's Awakening. And man, oh man, did we play the hell out of that. Did we play the hell out of Link's Awakening? Let me tell you. And then, of course, when Pokemon came out, we were off to the races. So I'm kind of glad that I got Super Game Boy because I can't imagine how much batteries I would have burnt back in the day playing. Like, at least you have like that unlimited electricity logic. Uh, T-Formers 2. I've still yet to ever own a handheld. Well, that's terrible. I mean, you should start with T-Formers. You get yourself a Nintendo DS with an R4 emulation cartridge. And then you could dump every kind of game on there and then you can enjoy. Or you get an extremely cheap PSP, which you could probably find for nothing. Get a PSP for cheap, the PlayStation Portable, and then you get that hacked. Again, you put and then you could put like every game. You could put any Super Nintendo game, regular Nintendo, Sega Genesis, PlayStation 1. I think you can't play DS games, but good stuff. Good stuff. Great stuff, really. Game Gear. Roman, can I ask you a question? Another theory. Another theory, Roman. Do you wear glasses? So there's a theory with Game Gear. I'm kind of curious. Do you wear glasses, Roman? Because so Game Gears, I have one upstairs somewhere now because I collect consoles now, so I try to get everything. But so there's a theory because Game Gears use what were called scanline technology. Sega, in order to kind of rush handheld color consoles to market, handheld consoles to market, um, their screens used scanline technology, which was very similar to old CRT televisions. Now, if you remember, if you're a boomer kid or a millennial kid, you're always told don't sit too close to the television; it'll damage your eyes, right? So here's this thing. It's like you're supposed to sit like 3 feet or more away from a television. It'll damage your eyes. Take it from me. I was a kid who played Nintendo religiously, but I don't wear glasses. Maybe I'm lucky, and I'm like past my 40s. But imagine having a Sega Game Gear and you're like this, you know? So, and it's funny because every kid I knew who had a Game Gear ended up wearing glasses later in life. It's very weird. And I remember people talking about that, how like the Game Gear and the Atari Lynx were these two systems that were really bad for your eyesight. So I wonder if there's truth to that. And everyone I talk to, it's so weird. Now, granted, yeah, maybe you wore glasses before and it's not the case, but there's so many people I know that that's the case. It's very weird. Very weird. Very weird. Just a theory. A game theory. A proto man theory. I hate how blurry the games were. Well, Victory bought the Lego Game Boy set. So did my wife. Right now, you could buy the Lego Game Boy set on sale at Costco. Apparently, at Costco, that's the best price you could get it from. She bought it there. She hasn't built it yet, though, but it looks really cool. Looks really, really cool. T-Formers 2002, another factor to consider is bad eyesight genetics from your family. Pretty much most of my family have glasses. Well, here's the thing. My mom and dad both wear glasses. Both of them. So I don't, and my mom and dad wear glasses. My grandmother and grandmother on my mom's side wear glasses. My uncle wears glasses. My grandmother doesn't wear glasses, but I know my grandfather on my dad's side wore glasses. So only one person out of my direct two generations, including aunts and uncles, they all wear glasses. But you know, maybe I got lucky. I don't know. I don't know. Tom Laney had the first NES, and the first game you bought was Godzilla. Godzilla for the NES, not that great a game, unfortunately. If you wanted a Godzilla game, you would want to get Rampage, which isn't a Godzilla game, but you know what I mean if you know Rampage. You know? Yeah, yeah, yeah. The best Godzilla games or Godzilla-like games are King of the Monsters 1 and 2 for the Neo Geo. They did ports for the Super Nintendo, but the Neo Geo ones are the best ones. King of the Monsters, obviously Rampage and all their sequels. Those are all super fun. Rampage for the N64, Rampage. I think it was called. I think it was called Rampage 64 World Tour. I think it was called Rampage World Tour. Really good, really really good. I think the best version I think is the one for the PlayStation. That's really good. Fun games. And the best Godzilla games, they did a Godzilla beat 'em up. I think it was called Godzilla Unleashed. That was really good. I think it was for the Wii, and I think it was multi-console, that one. Really, really good. Like if you want Godzilla-esque and actual Godzilla games. They did a few Godzilla fighting games for the Super Nintendo, and they have a great cast. Like, oh, it's Mothra, it's everybody. But I find that the games as a fighting game are, it's when every company was making a fighting game, you know? Um, Lizards for X. The pieces inside the Game Boy set resemble the colors of a circuit board, and the screen move when you shift the. Yeah, I know it has that lenticular on there. I just like it that it has Link's Awakening as a cartridge that you could build. You know, so very very cool, very very cool. She bought it. She hasn't built that one yet. She has like a queue of Lego sets. Like same thing with this one. When is she going to build this? I don't know. She bought the Formula One Art and Senna on sale. She hasn't built that yet. She bought the K-pop. Uh, what's that group called? Oh my god, BTS. She bought that one on clearance. That was on like mega clearance. She bought that super cheap. She hasn't built that one yet. She bought the Game Boy one. She hasn't built that one yet. What else did she bought a bunch? She bought a bunch, but so this is gonna go on the pile. I have a queue of Gundam model kits, and she has a queue of Lego kits to build. Kabuto best Godzilla game was Bartzilla from Bart's Nightmare. That game is terrible. That game is terrible. The best dream segment from the Bart's Nightmare, in my opinion, was the Itchy and Scratchy one and the Bartman one, where you're flying and shooting the slingshot. Those are the best ones. The worst one, I think, is the Indiana Jones segment. And the Bartzilla one wasn't very good too. It was very short. The BTS one was great for parts. You know, it was hilarious. It was hilarious. She loves BTS. And I remember she looked at the set. She looked at the set and she went, I don't know who's who. They all look alike. And I'm like, Sandy, you're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to say that. They all look alike to me. It's your own people. How could you say that? But it's because they're Lego minifigs. They all look alike. What do you want? If there was a Lego minifig of me, I don't know. Maybe you'd be able to tell a little bit, but that's about it. Put a hot rod shirt on me or something. But yeah, man, looking forward to this though. Actually, let's do a live open. Let's open this up now with you guys while we get some more super chats in the meantime. Let's see. Let's check this one out. Let's check this out, yo, and then make me go buy more. Krusty Super Funhouse was fun, but that was at Krusty Super Funhouse. Fun fact, was originally a European game that they reskinned into Krusty Super Funhouse. My wife is Asian, and you know what that means? That she's terribly racist. Yeah, it's a model kit. Oh, geez, whoa, there's a lot of stuff in here. What is this? This is a metal sword. Look at that. That is cool. Oh, you're right, eh? Young. It's like I think you're right. It's like the Three Kingdoms. Is this? Oh, it even comes with gum. Comes with some gum or something. And the model kit, yeah, it's like a little mini model kit, like a kabaya kit. Yo, this is cool. Look at that. Look at that, boys. Yo, that's cool. It's a little red Gundam looking dude. Yo, I think I'm gonna go and buy the others. Watch this. Yo, this looks good. Yo, this looks good. Hey, little. This is not on the runner. I guess the gold plastic they had to use for this one to keep it here. And then there's some stickers, of course. Very, very cool. What'd you say here, Dylan? I actually do have fake Lego style minifigs that of a yeah, well, you know what's funny with her? So she's not like a Lego purist. Like she will buy bootleg Lego stuff because she loves when they do bootleg Legos of other brands. So especially when it's stuff that we'll probably never get Lego of. So she has tons of bootleg Lego. Tons of bootleg Lego. I would have to say, no joke, like of her minifig collection, and she has a huge minifig collection. Of her minifig collection, I'd have to say about 40% of it is bootleg stuff because she loves the bootleg stuff. She really, really does. When we went to San Diego, like there was a bootleg Lego dealer there, and she must have dropped like 50, $60 at that dude because they had like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, they had Pokemon, they had Ultraman, they had Voltron, like all this stuff that Lego's done Voltron, just not minifigs, but whole bunch of stuff. Whole bunch of stuff. Draco Rex with the $5 super chat, which Shock Whale confirmed any chance for more aquatic Transformers for 2027. Dude, I am so happy we're getting a whale transformer because it's never been done before. If you don't count, of course, Orkanok, which is technically a base transformer. And then you have like, what's his name there? Oh my God, why is his name escaping me? The Fusor, which is half half. But then some people are like, well, it's a whale, but it's also kind of part of the shark family. But whatever. There's bootleg K-pop Demon Hunter Lego. Well, that doesn't surprise me. Anything. The thing with the bootleg Lego people, I notice that they move extremely quickly. So when something becomes popular, they right away rush out Lego for it. Because like they've never made good Lego minifig Mario and Zelda stuff until only recently. And Torka, thank you. Why did that escape me? Torka. Good old Torka with his GPS. What a nightmare that figure is. To own today. Don't clip in his weapon. But like, man, just she has so many of those bootleg ones. This is super cool. I'm gonna probably want to get the others. Man, only $2.99 Canadian. Well, another model kit to build. Very, very cool. And I got these guys. Let's open up one of them. Which one should we open up? We'll open up the tank one. Let's open up this one. Let's open up this guy right here. So number one. Number one. Comes with little paper. This one too also comes with, I don't know if you could hear it, little pop rock candies. It's got the instructions. So let's open up the instructions first. Oh, a nice little like poster. Oh, look how big the look how big the instructions are compared to the packaging. Opens up to make this. So you got, it's called deformation numbers. There he is, all of them together. So you could do the full combiner, or if you wanted to do just the smaller combiners, if you have only 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, or 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0, two separate dudes. Very, very cool. But since we have just the one open, and one transforms into, it looks like it's number 1. There he is. And it looks like, let me see, let's figure this out from the photo. So it looks like this pops up here. Yeah. And then these pieces go on the side. Oh, there we go. There we go. But yeah, official Demon Hunter set would be great. Well, you know what? I mean, it's the classic Baby Yoda situation, as I like to call it, where sometimes you have to rush stuff out to market, and sometimes you're not quick enough, you know? So you just don't have the opportunity to do it. But yeah, let's open this. There we go. Look at that. It's a little tank dude. Oh, let me put the gun up more. Little tank from number 1. Very cool. Very high quality too. All the paint deco on there. There, I'll transform it in front of you guys now. There we go. Number 1. Very cool. Very cool. I appreciate this kind of stuff. Always dig it. Always dig this kind of stuff. There you go. Number 1. And then I'm going to go do number 2. And then if I play my cards right tonight, oh yeah. That's your parents, children. What's up, Aaron? How you doing? Aaron's in the house. Well, Mattel, what's the thing with them is, I really think that they should have like rushed out something that was much more for retail, and they would have made way more money. But it's them, the whole kidult mentality that a lot of these companies have now, where they go like, well, children aren't buying toys anymore, so let's just market it towards adults. And because we're marketing it towards adult, let's put that premium price attached to it. Sure, we could ask $14.99, but why don't we just ask, $60.99, and really get that Q4 up. So that's kind of what's going on with that, unfortunately. Well, yeah, the problem with Baby Yoda Victory is Baby Yoda was hot before we even knew it was Grogu. And then everyone rushed to put out stuff in time for market, but the time they did, everyone had moved on. And then that's why the market was saturated. And this is impossible, but I guarantee if that product was available, as I call it, Japanese style, meaning character appears and then there's product literally on the shelf the weekend of it would have sold gangbusters. But only Japan is good at that. Japan is great at that. Rodimus debuts on Friday, and the toys are on shelves on Saturday. But that's what happens when you have a country that fits into the state of California. You get away with that quite easily. But so chance to say Generations Octopunch. Well, I mean, Octopunch is a trademark that is available. I think Octopunch is very much a reality, and we will get an Octopunch at some point again, only because that trademark does exist and they do keep it fresh. In fact, if memory serves me, it'll probably be happening within the next 12 months. Stay tuned for that. All you have to do is look at the trademarks. I keep rambling about that over and over, but it's the ultimate cheat sheet. Archer Monster, aka Aaron, what is he saying here? Do you know they did not share Baby Yoda with Hasbro till the show launched? All the LFL, all on LFL. Well, imagine that, eh? Imagine that. Maybe they were worried for leaks and stuff, probably. But that is, that's a missed opportunity. Missed opportunity of a lot of money that would have been made. Why YouTube keep changing our names? This is Timmy K, by the way. Well, it depends which account you log on into. If you log into your personal account or if you log into your YouTube account. So that's why. Same thing. Aaron sometimes comes in as Toy Armada. Sometimes Aaron comes in under his personal account. Right now, he's under his personal account. Tom Laney, Earthspark. Isn't he going to be an Earthspark? Who's going to be an Earthspark? Who are we talking about here? Talking about you're talking about Octopunch? Yeah. He's going to be an Earthspark, but the thing is, that's not product. Appearances, comic book appearances, that doesn't flag and cue the trademark thing. You could have a character make a cameo in something, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, how many Transformers animated characters made appearances but never got toys? It doesn't mean anything. I'm still waiting for my Transformers animated Grandis. I'd love that one. That'd be absolutely flippin' fantastic. No, YouTube keeps using our @names instead of our regular screen names. Do they? I don't know. YouTube did a big update last week. I talked about it with you guys. Like they messed with all the settings and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know what to. Ninjatron, Baby Yoda confirmed for Earthspark. If anything could save Earthspark is at this point, it's Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda is going to save Earthspark. Where's the one that turns into a robot? Is this one number 3? Number 3 turn into a robot. Let's see how this one looks. I don't know, my friend. I do not know. So here's number 3. So how does it look in robot mode? Okay, so that would be the feet. And that would be that. I have a rule that I don't like using instructions to transfer. Oh, it's got a very Optimus looking head. Okay, I'm going to show that to you guys after. I don't like using instructions. I always feel like watching toy reviews or using instructions is almost kind of like cheating. I feel like it's a puzzle. And so it's like you should kind of like figure it out on your own. This is probably like that's for the transformation. Okay, cool. Very cool. Okay. Very cool. All right, so there's the face. Let's see if it gets a good without it getting blurry. It's got a very Optimus Prime convoy kind of looking face, although it's got the Gundam soul patch going on. There you go. Very cool. Very, very cool. Number 3. Love it. Love it. Only $1 each Canadian, imagine. What a steal. What a steal. And it's backwards in the box. It's like, wait a minute. T-Formers. Speaking of Octopunch, the new Micronus works as a sort of half-baked modern pretender if they put some more work into it. Well, I mean, I know that they did an interview. I want to say it was Generations Guidebook last year. They did an interview with Kobayashi-san. And Kobayashi-san worked on Masterpiece for years and years and years, the early Masterpiece stuff. And Kobayashi-san would always say, like, they always have meetings about what should be the next masterpieces, what should be items that we suggest back and forth with Hasbro. And he said, and the only reason why this came up was because they were like, oh, if they're ever going to do a Metal Hawk for Masterpiece, right? And he said that every time they have a meeting, they always bring up Pretenders. They always bring up Master Force. And he's like, there's a group of guys that are like, yeah, let's make Pretenders happen. And then there's another group of guys at Hasbro. This is at Takara. This is all Takara. That Takara there's like, why would you want to do that? So it's always been like, I don't know if it's like a voting system, but it's like if it's a voting system, it's definitely not unanimous, and that's kind of why we haven't gotten traditional Pretenders up to this point. And the sad thing is, and I always have them nearby here because I love them so much, but you know, the closest we got to Pretenders was these little decoy armors, you know? And the sad reality with these little decoy armors were they were cheap, they were affordable, they were fun, and they sold terrible. Like decoy armors were clearanced everywhere. And that's where we got our last Octo Punch. That's where we got our very first official Metal Hawk, if you don't count for the West, if you don't count the BotCon one. I guess first retail Western Metal Hawk. I guess we'll use that term. But yeah, like, so that probably didn't help either. It's like, well, look, we did a Pretender shell thingy with the little decoy armors, and that didn't do well, with the Prime Masters. So there's always that muscle memory of what sold well and what didn't sell well. So that didn't help. That didn't help. Same reason why we don't see a lot of Beast Machine stuff, because every time they seem to do a Beast Machines character, they always seem to sell very poorly. So it's like in the more modern era. So it's like, ooh, okay, let's avoid some of those. I know it's not really 100% a Pretender, but it's like I think it to them it's the closest thing to an armor, a figure with an armor with limited articulation. Because think about what a Pretender is, and think about what this is, and it's very similar. And it's all those characters they were based off of Pretender trademarks. So Draco Rex with the $2 super chat. Transformers X Batman when? Well, that's the last one of the 2026 collaborations that have still yet to be revealed. We finally saw the He-Man one. We finally saw the NFL stuff. We finally saw the Naruto stuff. We finally saw the Sonic the Hedgehog stuff. All we're missing is Batman from that list. So we shall see. I thought, honestly, it would have been something that would have been revealed at San Diego. I thought it would have been appropriate. World's largest Transformer brand comic convention reveal, like it would have just been great, but wasn't the case. Maybe they'll save it for CCXP. Who knows? I guess Batman has a huge following in Brazil. No, it's pretty obvious what they're going to reveal at CCXP, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe a toy fair. Toy fair always happens around December, January, February, like Toy Fair New York. So maybe they'll do it around then. They'll reveal Batman. That's one way to do it. That's one way. I think that in terms of collaboration stuff, uh, I think that what's really due to happen is Power Rangers. I think that Power Rangers is probably going to have to do a collaboration at some point. I've always said that sometimes those collaborations don't need to happen because the brands are so strong on their own that they don't need to collaborate. But Power Rangers is in a weird point right now. They just had that huge AI trailer drama that happened where that Power Rangers Ninja Kids thing was like completely nixed and canceled. And then the recent Boom Studio Power Ranger comic book supposedly has been discontinued. So that's going on. And there's all kinds of other conversations of weird stuff right now. So it's like, hey, Power Rangers in a weird place right now. Why not do a collaboration with Transformers? But the flip side of it, I will say this. The retail market for the He-Man Transformers has been terrible. No one has been buying these. They're $34.99, if I remember correctly. That might just be the Canadian price. And no one is buying them. Now, granted, I guess it's because it's Bumblebee. and Megatron, and maybe people aren't excited about Bumblebee and Megatron. Maybe if they would have started with Optimus Prime and Starscream, they would have sold better. But currently, right now, no one is buying Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. Excuse me, Megatron and Bumblebee, the Man at Arms and the Skeletor. So that isn't doing well. Granted, He-Man is not exactly the strongest brand to cross over with, and they're very expensive, so that might also hurt it. But that's going to be one collaboration that they might need to rethink things. But then again, I think it's just going to be the four characters, and then that's it. You know, Optimus, Bumblebee, Starscream, Megatron. That seems to be it, and then that's it. They won't do any more. Judging if the sales are that bad, like I'm seeing full pegs and no one's touching them, like week after week. So I just want to get the Optimus. The Optimus looks cool just because it has like the Matrix sword and just it looks cool, the design. I mean, if I get the others hella cheap, sure. I'm not a big He-Man guy, so we'll never get our Roboto crossover figure, which would have been the most appropriate. Roboto X, I don't know. Roboto X, Brainstorm, Roboto X Wheeljack, whatever they would have done with him. Clark Clint, I feel that the market is getting oversaturated right now with Bumblebee, Prime, Meg, Starscream. Transformers needs to refresh the brand. Well, the problem with it is whenever you see those four, you have to understand, yeah, that's going to be something that Hasbro decides to do. But whenever it's a license situation, it's 100% going to be the Legendary Seven. It's always going to be them. Look, what we just talked about today. I'll just put this up on the screen while I say this. You know, the thing that you have to understand is this was during the John Warden days. John Warden put together I guess we'll call it a press package that would always be sent to licensors of these are our 7 most important characters. And if you're going to do licensed product, and this was sent to people, oh, you're going to do rubber keychains. You're going to do, a soap dish. You're going to do a t-shirt. You're going to do like something that's used for a birthday wrapping, like any kind of licensed product tchotchke stuff, like these cars here on the screen. The Legendary Seven were always, and this is what it was referred to as, the Legendary Seven: Optimus Prime, Megatron, Bumblebee, Soundwave, Grimlock, Starscream, Devastator. The most casual, distant, out of the fandom fan that only remembers Car Guy, Truck Bot, they will remember those 7 characters. They'll remember Soundwave, but they might not remember Jazz. They'll remember Grimlock, but they might not remember Shockwave. They'll remember Bumblebee, but they sure as hell won't remember RC or Hot Rod, or Prowl. Those are all tier 2. Even Hot Rod, I wouldn't put tier 2. I'd put him tier 3, and that's coming from me. So that says something. So those guys always were on that tier. So when you're talking licensing now, where you're talking with Mattel, hey, Mattel, we want to do a collaboration. Mattel's not going to be like, oh yeah, we totally want to get, we totally want to do a collaboration, and we want to have Double Clouder and Boss from the UK Obliterators. Like they're not going to go with the deep cuts. They want to go with the surefire sales, as they should. So they're always going to go with the most popular characters. They're not going to go with the weird stuff. So it's something where that's why it doesn't surprise me that they keep revisiting those same 7 characters, although 6, because Devastator's too big an item to really always revisit. But they revisit those 6 because it's something from their perspective will at least be recognizable. Will always be recognizable. Clark Clint says, you're right, Proto. I guess a hardcore fan is just tired of the G1 bubble that we're in. It's been 20 years, fam. I'm a Unicron trilogy kid. I want them to mix up with popular characters. Well, dude, look, I was just saying, Scavenger from Unicron trilogy from Armada is awesome as a character. Sideways. But again, I'm just as, like you said, hardcore fans, we've seen it all, tasted all, been there. We've been there since day one. We've been buying Optimus Primes like crazy. But when you're talking a very casual fan, that for all we know, that He-Man Optimus might be their first Optimus figure ever. That's kind of why they go that route. It's old hat for us, although it's still fresh in the sense that it's like, well, I never owned a He-Man Optimus before, so I guess I'll own this. And I've never owned Scareglow or Starscream, so I guess I'll own that. But then you talk to me and it's like every single He-Man figure I've ever owned has this guy's face on it. I'm not a He-Man guy, but I love Roboto. So whenever I see stuff of him, I try to pick it up on the cheap, you know? And Faker. Faker's cool too. Again, I like robot stuff. Faker's awesome too. I see like Faker Nemesis Prime would have like written itself. That would have written itself easily. He comes with a dark matrix blade and like or even like a dark saber they could have done. And then they could have just like they could have taken the Mattel Optimus He-Man, do it in Nemesis Prime colors, put the Faker like gears and stuff in the chest to show that Faker is a robot and it's a fake version, and then you give him like a dark saber blade instead of the Matrix blade, like give him a new weapon. And that's He-Man history is new weapon, same sculpt. So that would have been great. Would have written itself. You put the little comic, which Marcelo worked on. Shout out to Marcelo, who worked on the He-Man comic. Fantastic stuff. Like, can we please move away from Bumblebee and go back to Hotshot or a new character? I'd like to see more Hotshot, but it's a different time. The moment Bumblebee made his debut on the movie screens with the 2007 movie, we were never going back. We were never going to go back. Hasbro just has that muscle memory of, well, look how crazy Bumblebee did. And look, the fact that Bumblebee headlined his own movie, the fact that he will always be there, he will be a fixture forever. The days of there's a ladybug in the house. How did that happen? Um, but the days of like the Cheetor being the main sidekick character, or the Hot Shot, or prior to that the Wheelie or the Hot Rod, those days are gone. Transformers Prime, it's like here's Bumblebee, and then they gave you a little bit of smoke screen, which was like a proto kind of like, I'm looking down at him, smoke screen, kind of a proto Hot Rod character. But those days are gone. It's they're playing it safe more than ever. So it is what it is. Hotshot was almost born out of, and Aaron could confirm this for me, who's in the chat, but Hotshot was born out of, you can't use Hot Rod and you can't use Bumblebee right now. So and again, when you think of the trademark Hotshot, up to that point, it was just a spy changer that had flames on the chest, black car, Porsche. So the Hotshot trademark only represented one thing. Hot Rod was a red flame-chested sports car, and Bumblebee was a vehicle, Volkswagen up to that point, a vehicle that was yellow. So Hotshot was kind of this magical fusion of a lot of things. Now, granted, Hotshot was called Hot Rod in Japan. Trademarks are a whole other animal over there, and then you got the Hot Rod colored Power Links Hotshot later on. But you know what I mean. Ladybug, the last of the Insecticons that never happened in Japan. Bitras, as it was called in Japan. T-Formers 2002, the Netflix Revelation show got me to buy a couple of those figures, but I mostly don't care. Well, I mean, again, and isn't that great? T-Formers, that a television show made you then want to go out and buy product. Let that be a lesson to any future business partners and or creative people at toy companies. The show should exist to make people want to engage with the product. Yeah. Hot take, eh? Here we go. Aaron, Hotshot speaks of the essence of our character goal, young yellow warrior was the connection. Bumblebee wasn't very ownable or cool sounding. Well, that's true too. And you are right. You are right, because historically, up to that point, the popular yellow character was Cheetor, who was absolutely killing it. Cheetor was always an available character in every single assortment. You have Blue Eye Cheetor in the launch of Beast Wars, which I won't even count as a popular assortment because that was just when it launched. But then when 96, 97, Series 2, Series 3, Series 2, Red Eye Cheetor variant, Series 3, which was 97, then you have Green Eye Cheetor variant. Then you go into 98, Transmetals. You got Cheetor again with Transmetal 1, and then 99, Transmetal 2 Cheetor. And then when you go into Beast Machines 99 into 2000, Cheetor had all the price points. You know, he was let's give you a mega class Cheetor. Let's give you a deluxe Cheetor, although that was the Night Slash repaint, and then the Supreme Cheetor, and then there was Cheetor in McDonald's, and Cheetor in Jollibees if you have Jollibees. So yeah, you are right. You are totally correct. The yellow hero character was crushing it at that point. So the market research would have definitely said that. Would have definitely said that for sure. Where are we at here? But Rodimus would have contributed to that. What do you mean by Rodimus? And yet Super Link, he was hot shot, but Rodimus. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. Well, I think that they called him hot shot in the Super Link version because, like you said, Rodimus Convoy was going to be a character present. So to not confuse the Japanese Ottomans, because it was Hot Rodimus, as he was called in Japan, they would have confused those two characters being in the same spot in the same place. Clark Clint. Oop, that's weird. Why did that close? Why did that close automatically? There we go. Because I hit something there. Clark Clint, I think like this, RID 2014, Bumblebee was the main character. Then Cyberverse, he was the main character again. I wish they would just get away with remixing G1. Well, again, it's individuals that play it safe at a time when the money is okay. I've said this before. Transformers needs to crash and burn before they take risks. The series needs to be at a G2 low, as I like to call it, the G2 low, the G2 days of oh my goodness. 1992 was the lowest year for Transformers in terms of sales, fiction, and product. Then they released G2 and it bombs. So between 92 just having nothing, had something but very little, and then 93 and 94 just being an absolute dumpster fire, not because it was bad product, but because Power Rangers just showed up and said, hold my beer, and just took the entire focus of the toy buying aisle, from away from them. It didn't help that also in 93, 94, X-Men the animated series was hot, Spider-Man the animated series was hot, so Toy Biz was doing incredibly well with their products. So, and then Todd McFarlane came on the scene, so the adult collector market was putting their money into Todd's toys, which later on became McFarlane toys. So there's a whole, if you lived it like I did, you could see what was going on back then. Transformers was effed. 93, 94. So because it was so effed, it had to go to Kenner and it had to reinvent itself from the ground up and do something that has never been done before and probably will never be done since. Hey, let's start a Transformer series where Transformers isn't even the name of the headline. It's Beast Wars Transformers. Let's do a Transformer series where every character minus one or two is not even a trademark name. Optimus Primal, Dinobot, a faction, Scorponok. That's it. Everything else. Rhinox. Oh, that classic G1 character, Rhinox. Cheetor. That classic character, Cheetor. Rat Trap. Pterosaur. Tarantulas. I could go on and on. Tigatron. Black Arachnia. Yeah, you get the Silverbolt in there later. But then the Quick Strike. Depth Charge. Never this would never happen today. Never. And they never would let that happen. James, Proto, what's for dinner? So me and the wife went out to a nice little Vietnamese restaurant. I ordered this like vegetable mix of like garlic sprouts with beef and a dry rice noodle, and it was just absolutely fantastic. So much garlic though, so I'm like kind of coming up a little bit. And she got some like chicken dish and everything. It was delicious. It was amazing. So we went to that because we went off the island to like all these Asian supermarket stuff. So we figured we'll have a nice little dinner with that. And I'm still full from it. We like, again, that's why I'm all unshaved for you guys, because we just came back like maybe an hour before the live stream went live. So T Formers 2002. Thank you to the UK for keeping it alive. Well, that's just it. In 1992, there was just a couple of UK products, like eight UK products, two UK comic books, two Japanese story pages. That was it. That was it. The lowest year in Transformer history. 8 toys, 2 comics, 2 manga pages. That was it. The lowest year ever. Uh, so thank Operation Combination for that one too. The tail end of Operation Combination. Uh, Kabuto, are you still getting your Armada fix with your Red Alert? Are you still getting your Armada fix with Red Alert, Commander Optimus, and Titan Class Tidal Wave? What more do you want? I would want a super articulated, posable Armada scavenger. I would love to see them revisit Smokescreen, even though Aaron's not a big fan of him, but revisit Armada Smokescreen, see if you could redo him and do him some justice. Sideways is a given. You got to do Sideways because he's awesome. Obviously, Jetfire for the combiner element, but I think that's going to happen sooner or later, along with Overload. You know, there's a bunch. There's a bunch of great designs. The thing is that the reason why I don't mention the other two, like Energon, the toys were so screen accurate that there's almost no reason to revisit them. And it's the same thing with Galaxy Force, aka Cybertron. Like when they did the new Sideways, it's the old toy, maybe even worse, where the Armada toys were so toyetic that they just didn't match the animation model. So now you could take that opportunity to have screen accuracy, where you don't really need to do that with Energon or Cybertron. I mean, you could argue maybe the combined modes, the Power Link modes, could be more accurate, but because I mean, like Rodimus didn't have like arms in his Power Link mode, Super Link, but where are we at? Where are we at? Oh, we're almost done tonight. We're gonna have to call it quits soon. The first guy jerk. Hey friends, how you doing? First guy jerk. We're almost done today. Clark Clint Gaming. We have nowhere near enough Armada. Oh, we're getting there. We'll build more. We'll get more Armada. We need more mini cons, I think. We need Duelor. We need Duelor. Give Duelor more love. Where's my Duelor update? We'll take a few more questions and then we will call it quits for today. T Formers RIP at Andy Kuzin last year for designing most of these early 90s UK figures. Oh, I didn't know he passed away. That's a shame. The first guy jerk, Proto, what are your thoughts on posing figures in collection? I see a lot of collections where figures are their arms side by side. Unfortunately, my friend, I am guilty of non-posed Transformer figures in general. When you have the scope that I have, yeah, the Bloody Tusks could be like this with the Matrix, or like an Optimus could kind of be in a kind of a cool pose in the front. But in general, they're pretty static for space reasons. Um, just because I have too much. I mean, some of them will be in cool poses. The you can't see it off screen. The Kiss Play stuff will kind of be in the cool stuff there. The Kiss Play section, the over 18 section, as I like to call it. I'm going to jail. You know, Then we go all the way back to the G1 stuff. Move the go to the G1 stuff. It's all going to be pretty. I mean, G1's not very posable anyway, so how static could it be? And then you can't see the Beast Wars stuff, but it's all the way tucked away back there. But and even like here, we'll go all the way to the movie stuff. The craziness of that. I like to call that the 18 feet of movie, you know, and then masterpiece and everything. You know, it gets by. It gets by, and I just screwed up the camera totally. This is why I don't try to mess with the camera too much. That's we good? We good? We not good? Anyways, so I'm guilty of it. I have to kind of have it in this like kind of neutral stance. When it comes to my video game stuff, which I have way more space, you could have like an X figure that's a little more posed and looking cool and stuff. But when you have Transformers like I do on the scope that I do, again, I am a line completist, meaning like I try to get everything. Uh, it's not easy. It's not. There was. Did you see that? That was the little ladybug. Uh, anyways, so yeah, it's not easy. I have to keep it boring, unfortunately. If I had space, oh, then kidding. Everyone would be in a super dynamic, awesome, awesome pose, you know, but not going to happen, unfortunately. Where are the mini cons? Yeah, I would love more mini cons. I would love some 2 packs, 3 packs, or whatever. 18 feet of Michael Bay movie, giggity. Yeah, I measured it just for fun, giggity. It's 18 feet long, 18 feet of movie 2007, Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon, and some of Age of Extinction. And then at the time when I was doing it, giggity, geez, the innuendos today. Under it is all classics and generations and masterpiece. So then the shelving under it is then Age of Extinction, The Last Night, and then going into the other movie stuff. And then Studio Series is a whole separate display. I have glass cases in the center of the room here for Studio Series. Where is Butters? Butters is upstairs sleeping. Um, he went to the vet recently because he had teeth problems. So, in case you didn't know, in order for cats to have their teeth brushed, just to kind of like help out with his teeth problems, because he has a toothache. He was a rescue, Butters. He had a lot of problems, so we're kind of dumping money into him to make him healthy and comfortable. But to have a cat's teeth brushed, especially a very strong male cat, they have to put them to sleep temporarily. So he's a little groggy. Oh, I think you summoned him because here he comes. Oh my goodness, bro! He's you literally. I think because we were saying his name, Butters, Butters, Butters. Yo, your people want you, man. I called you and you came down. What up? What up? What up? Did Tiny follow you? Our black cat is down here too, I think. Tiny, there you go. Say his name and he'll appear. I believe in Butters. Yeah, you saw his reflection. Boy, how you doing? How you feeling? He's always like, ugh, because he had his teeth brushed. Although apparently they say that the toothpaste that they use on cats is cranberry. So, Butters, how you feeling, man? He's a little groggy. He's awesome though. This cat is so effing smart. You have no idea. Eh? You like Ultra Magnus? Can you deal with Ultra Magnus? Anyways, he's a good dude. He's a good dude. I had over a dozen cats growing up. I've never had an all white cat. So I'll sit like this in the meantime. You can see all the plush that are on the couch. Uh, He's going. You gonna go chill, man? I was gonna go chill on the top of the couch. He likes the top of the couch. There we go. He's awesome. Very good cat. What I like about him is like he's I've had so many cats and it's very rare when you call a cat by their name, they just come running unless it's for food, because usually cats are very food motivated. He actually comes when you call his name, like he's curious, you know? It's not just food motivation. So, but he's awesome. You're a good cat, man. And I hope he's healthy. Take care of him. Where's Tiny? Tiny. I'm gonna try to grab Tiny for you guys. Before we go, we'll grab Tiny. Well, do it. She's tough to grab. The second you approach Tiny, she's like, "Oh, food, food." She thinks I'm going to the kitchen. Her, it's more difficult. You guys seen her already. She's a beautiful black cat too. Bread and butters. He's awesome. Anyways, guys, thanks for all the love and support today. Thanks for all the cool stuff. I'm gonna definitely check these out. I'm gonna build them. I'll probably put it on the Instagram. Show you guys how the final product looks. Very, very cool. Again, if you want to continue supporting the podcast, check us out on Patreon down below. We posted a bunch of episodes of Transformers Wild King that were exclusive to the Patreon. I posted one or two of the episodes on Twitter, but episode 12 is on the Patreon. It's exclusive through our Discord, so check that out. We'll have the latest episodes of Wild King in the future, also available on the Discord, since for some reason Takara Region locked them. Otherwise, Discord's a cool place to hang out. We reveal deals, news, you get your name in the end credits. Our Discord's awesome. So come join the Patreon if you want. Aside from that, we are done for tonight, Butters. Butters, we're going to go up and go grab a bite, maybe have a little snack. We're going to chill tonight, relax, enjoy the family, transform some letters, and hopefully everything will work out in the end. And we'll just relax. Take care, everyone. I'm out of here. Take care of yourself, your friends, your family, your loved one. The world's an amazing place. Don't ever let the negativity of social media and everything keep you down. Put your mind to things that you enjoy, and everything always works out in the end. I'm living embodiment of that. Everything that I love, I put 100% of myself into it. I am not lazy. I am an individual that just and always seems to work out. So it's the same thing. If you ever feel you're down in life, just put yourself into something you enjoy and never hold back like you always do. I'm out of here. Take care. And as always, roll out. And I love you all.